Then started the initial onboarding process as I was doing the pre-separation stuff with the military. But I can say that I do like the freedom, I like the flexibility. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you guys are new. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below as well as the little bell so you will be notified every time I post a new video. So I'm here today to talk to you guys about my travel nursing experience. Yes, so by the time you guys see this video, I will have been a travel nurse for over a month. Yes, super exciting. So I want to talk to you guys about my experience thus far, how I started the travel nurse process, and then give you guys some tips and things, especially that I have learned throughout my process as I initiated it and now that I have been in the travel nurse world. I know a month does not seem like a long time, but I already feel like I have a lot of information that I can share. So why not sit back, grab a snack, and listen? Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so first and foremost, just a little bit of background, especially if you guys are new to my channel. Maybe this is the first video that you're watching. So I am a travel nurse now. I'm an ICU travel nurse. I just recently separated not too long ago from the Air Force Nurse Corps. Plenty of videos that you guys can watch on that. I have playlists for everything on my channel. Prior to that, I worked at the Mayo Clinic, also in the ICU. I've always been in the ICU since graduating from nursing school as a new grad. Plenty of videos also on that as well, just to dive into my channel. Okay, sis? All right, so I started my travel nursing process basically when I was still in the Air Force because I knew it was something that I wanted to do. So I started looking around, finding agencies that I wanted to work with, doing Google reviews, Better Business Bureau reviews. Like, you definitely want to look at reviews before you jump into something. So I started that process while I was still in the Air Force because I knew that I was wanting to separate from the Air Force and that it was going to happen. So I also needed to start looking into other options. Then started the initial onboarding process as I was doing the pre-separation stuff with the military. So it's like out from one into the other, you feel me? So there's a little bit of that. Now, when it comes to travel nursing, the basic requirements that you guys need, of course, is to be an RN and have at least 2 years of experience. Some hospitals will take you with at least one, but they do like to know that they're getting nurses that have at least 2 years of experience. So why is that? That is because it's a quick down and dirty process with orientation. A lot of times you are hired in, you might get like a week of orientation at the most, and then you're off on the floor doing your own thing. So they need to know that you are a nurse, that you're ready to go, and they don't have to lift you up by your bootstraps and get you going. So for me, on my travel contract that I'm in now, I had a week of orientation, but it was hospital-based orientation. So it's like the new hire stuff, learning policies, learning procedures, a Cerner charting system orientation because I had never used Cerner, and then a couple other things that I had to go through. And then I had one shift. You feel me? Listen close. One shift that was unit orientation. And then after that, I was on my own. So that's why I'm saying they want you to at least have experience so they know that you're ready to go. Sometimes you can get hired on a contract and have a couple days of orientation, and then on your unit you could even have, like, depending on the need, a few hours of orientation, and then they're like, hey, find somebody if you need some help, Godspeed. So that's honestly why a lot of hospitals like to hire travel nurses, because there is a lot of staffing shortages and staffing needs. It's a lot quicker of a process that you have to go through with the onboarding and the orientation than they really have to do for someone who is a actual staff member. So that's also a benefit of being a travel nurse. And then in my opinion, you also are less bound to the true obligations of the staff employees. Like, hey, I'm a travel nurse, so yeah, I'm not like one of your actual staff. So for me personally, I wanted to do travel nursing after the military because it was very flexible and it helps me to still maintain the lifestyle that I'm used to, as well as giving me the flexibility with school and clinicals. And then it also is a contract, but not necessarily a contract, so to speak. And after the military, I do not want another contractual agreement for a little while. Sis needs a break, okay? So most contracts with travel nursing is 13 weeks, and then you can extend with your facility if they, ask you to extend or anything like that. Or you can find, another contract in another state or even in the same city, and then you will have a new contract for another 13 weeks. Now, when it comes to the licensing piece, that all boils down to what state are you traveling to? What state are you in? Is that state a compact state or not? So I did have to get another license because the state I'm in was not a compact state. So I could not use my South Carolina nursing license. So I did apply for another license. But a lot of the costs that you will encounter when you are going through as a travel nurse, those costs you do pay out of pocket, but then you get reimbursed by your agency. So any certs that you need, ACLS, BLS, anything like that, if you don't already have it or it's expired and you have to get it, those costs will be reimbursed. So I had to get the new license for the new state. Then I also needed to get the NIH stroke scale certification. So those costs were reimbursed to me. I already had ACLS and BLS and PALS, so those were good to go. So always look at the state you're going to. Do you need a new license or not? And then whatever facility you're going to, when you and your recruiter are talking, they will let you know what specific certifications that you need and set you up with getting that training. Now, when it comes down to a specific agency, kind of play the field a little bit. So I was talking to two recruiters, both from different agencies, because different agencies have different contracts with different hospitals, even in the same state, even in the same city. So it's always good to compare pay packages and see, okay, who has the best rate? Where can I get the most money? So at the end of the day, when I knew where I wanted to go and I was talking to two different recruiters, I went with X over Y because of, location, pay, yada, yada, yada. It all comes down to personal choice. Now, when you're working with an agency, it's always good to ask a lot of questions about what do they offer. A lot of them offer really good benefits with healthcare. They offer of course, reimbursement. Like I also purchased a couple new pair of scrubs that I didn't have from my days in the Air Force. So I was reimbursed for those as well. Most of the time, generalized agencies all offer the same thing as far as your stipends. So you can take a stipend for your housing, or you can take the company-based housing. Most of the time, every travel nurse that I've encountered, including myself, take the housing for the stipend because you could actually make a little bit more money on the back end because you could find housing that comes in a little less than the stipend that you're given. So you could pocket a little bit of extra money as well. And then company-based housing is just a little bit like, it can be a little basic, honestly, and it's always better if you can just find more of what's tailored to you at the end of the day. Okay, so the next thing, a lot of people might be wondering, okay, well, what is it like? Like, how do you apply? How are you actually getting a position as a travel nurse? So the application process is once you and your recruiter are talking back and forth, they start sending you jobs. They'll give you like a generalized description. So I was sent a couple jobs, X, Y, and Z. It says, ICU position, days, nights, which is like a rotating ICU position nights, gives you a little synopsis, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, yes, I want to be submitted for X, Y, and Z. Once they submit your profile, which is basically a little synopsis of you, the hospital likes what they see from the profile, which your profile is you, the license you have, the certifications you have, your resume, all of that kind of stuff. Then they will contact you personally, and you'll most of the time have a phone interview, which is also the type of interview that I had. You'll talk to the nurse manager of whatever unit, ICU, L&D, NICU, whatever. And from that phone interview, they'll try to get to know you a little bit, ask you about your background, what are you familiar with, what have you worked with, what type of drips do you encounter, what type of patient population have you encountered. X, Y, and Z, trying to get to know you basically over the phone in like 20-30 minutes tops, honestly. If they like what they hear, they like what they see on paper, then they'll reach out to the recruiter again and let them know that they would like to offer you the travel contract. And then the contract gets sent over to the hospital from the agency. Everything gets established, X, Y, and Z, bada boom, bada bang, and you have a contract ready to go. You just show up where you need to show up on the day of hire. Now, depending on what you might need to stay up to date, you'll probably need to get those things done ahead of time. Maybe, certifications, vaccines, maybe a pre-employment physical, but all of that stuff, would be worked out between you and your recruiter. So far, in my month's time, my experience has been great. The hospital that I've been working at has been very helpful to me and the other travelers that I've met. I know there's a lot of stigma about, oh, being a traveler, you're going to get the crap assignment, yada, yada, yada. I can't necessarily say that I've gotten crap assignments. I have gotten some assignments where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I got this. Like, I'm open for an admission, then I get an admission, then I get my other patient off to the floor, then I'm gonna be open for an admission all night, praying that I don't get another admission. But I can't say that I necessarily get crapped on as a traveler. The unit that I work on is great. I like the ICU, I like the location. But like I said, I've only been doing this a little over 30 days now by the time you guys see this video. But I can say that I do like the freedom. I like the flexibility. So of course, with everything, there can be cons as well. So we'll just see how things continue to go. With this current contract that I'm on right now, I have not decided if I want to extend or not. And just see. There are other hospitals in my local area that I would be interested in seeing how their ICUs operate and possibly working there also. So we'll just kind of see how things go. But I wanted to sit down and talk about my experience so far, give some travel nurse tips in this video. Let me know in the comment section if you thought this video was helpful. Leave your questions as well. Like I said in my last video, if you guys are interested in travel nursing, then you can reach out to me in the comment section or via email, and I will let you guys know my recruiter information. I don't want to put it on blast. I will only give you the information if I know that you're serious. My company does offer a referral bonus as well if you sign up and complete your first contract. So I only want to offer the information if I know you're serious. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you have found it helpful. Once again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel on your way out, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.